Hey everybody, we're going to get started here in about 36 seconds from right now. Come on in here and let us know where you're watching from. So you can go into the comments right now of the live stream right here on YouTube and let us know where you're watching from. And when you drop it in and let us know where you're watching from, you're doing a couple things. You're giving us some visibility to who's here and watching, because otherwise all we see is a number. And if I see a number, I don't know who I'm talking to. So drop it in the comments, let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you're excited tonight's episode of Live Large Universe with Elevated Backcountry. And so let me go ahead and drop down the counter here, and we're going to get things rolling with the show. So let me give you a little commercial break here first and let you guys know that tonight's show sponsor is coming to you from one of mine, and I know Joey, one of your favorite also, Mountain Lab. So Mountain Lab gear, you can go to their website, check it out, mountainlabgear.com. Tonight, for anybody who's in the comments saying hi, anybody who shares the show out and tags us in it so we can see it, you are eligible to get in to win this amazing 800 lumen flashlight. I actually have this flashlight. It's pretty darn cool. It's got multiple settings on it, super bright, portable, rechargeable. I keep one in my truck. I keep it when I go for my walks every morning and stuff too. So pretty cool. Appreciate Mountain Lab sponsoring the show tonight and bringing you guys Elevated Backcountry. So I'm going to bring you guys here, Joey and Jeff from Elevated Backcountry. So if you guys want to come off mute, we're going to do this in 3, 2, and 1. How's it going, gentlemen?
How's it going?
Real good.
Good, good. Well, let me kick this off with a little bit of a personal introduction, because not only you guys guests of the show tonight, but personal friends, and I love bringing friends on the show. And Joey, I've known you probably a couple of years at least. Maybe it's been longer, but through you and your wife Kelsey, I've been following you guys on Facebook for quite a while. We have yet to ride together though, but that's not a big deal, because Jeff and I just finally got to do some riding together only, a month ago, Jeff, or less, wasn't it? And we had to go all the way to Island Park, Idaho to go ride together. Isn't that how that worked out?
Yeah, you got to leave the home state in order to play together. But that's part of the course, right?
Yep, Jeff and I both found ourselves in some training over in Island Park, and we took a hooky day, I guess you could call it, from the training that day, and we went out and enjoyed some Island Park POW, and had an amazing day out there. So, yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of you guys both for a while, and it's really cool to have a company like Elevated Backcountry here in the state of Washington, having true motorized avalanche education and now some ride skills training and all that too. So we're going to get into all that tonight, but let me do you guys the ability to kind of just say hi to your audience a little bit yourselves. Give us a quick introduction. Joey, why don't we start with you and just give us a little background on, hey, did you grow up here in Washington? Like, just high level, give us some background on who you are, what you're about, and how you find yourself on the show tonight. So.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here on the west side in Washington, Edmonds, actually, small town. Um, Lived here, I haven't moved out of this area yet. So hunkered down here, been snowmobiling ever since like teenage years. And yeah, pretty much work all summer to ride as much as possible in the winter. And this is my main hobby and what I like to do, what I invest my time and money and energy into. So,
Very cool.
yep.
Yeah, new business, and it's exciting. You got some amazing partners there too. We'll talk about not only just the two of you guys, but as you go through the introduction of the company here, let's talk a little bit about who your other partners are as well. But Jeff, let's give you a quick introduction first as well, and let's give us, Jeff's a guy who comes with a long resume, and I'm going to have you just highlight some of the things that you're involved in nowadays, Jeff. It's a pretty impressive little list of things that you get involved in around avalanche education nowadays.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny, it starts simply enough. It's like the thing I have in common with Joey mostly is we work all summer and try to do it as hard as we can to play all winter, right? And so I've been doing that for a while. And through that, I guess that habit of working every winter on snow, I started out in the mountains at a ski area, but then ended up working for the Northwest Avalanche Center for a few years as one of their pro observers. And that led to, just opportunities to teach with a wider range of people and sort of move around with I don't know, just kind of the world started to grow up a little bit at that time. And nowadays I work for ARI, the American Institute for Avalanche Research and Education. That's a mouthful, but
Yep.
I'm their motorized program direct manager. So I sort of oversee programs that are related to recreational and professional education in the motorized world for Erie.
Very cool, very cool. Also tied into the locally here, the Northwest Avalanche Center as well. And I know you and I have been working together on with them for a number of years here as well. And that's where I first got to meet you, was through them. So
Yeah, I mean, Northwest Avalanche Center has been working for 6 or 7 years now on an outreach program to the
yeah,
motorized community, and that's been something I've been involved in ever since it sort of came
yeah,
together for us meeting at a pub in Seattle somewhere with the initial ideas one night, and
yeah.
just kind of it's how ideas grow, right?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And so, Joey, I mean, knowing a little bit about you and your wife, Kelsey, I know Kelsey, was in avalanche education up in Canada, has come down here to the U.S. with you guys getting married down here. But for you, you've mostly been just kind of a backcountry rider. And I think it's an interesting story of how the four of you guys come together. I don't, if you guys don't mind, maybe highlight your other two partners. Of course, Joey, I'll let you talk about Kelsey for a minute. Maybe I'll let you talk about Patrick here for a minute and kind of talk about like how you guys came together. So give a quick like highlight of them. So Joey, give us a quick rundown on Kelsey quick. So
Yeah, I met Kels through the industry through the infamous Facebook. So that's how I got in there and started talking to her. And she was instructing in Canada and kind of started learning tidbits through her and whatnot. And I was kind of what she would call a statistic with no, avalanche background training wise, and started learning from her. And yeah, it kind of just inspired me with that. And then the incident that happened here at Baker a few years ago. So yeah, it kind of just lit a fire underneath me, and pretty cool. It made me realize there's more to snowmobiling than sponsors and deep snow, I guess you could say.
yeah,
So
for sure, and I think it's perfect time just to kind of highlight too, the incident you're referring to up on Mount Baker. I'll just cover it quick. Is for a lot of
yeah,
folks who live here locally, Luke Rohde was a really close friend of Joey's, and I don't know, I don't recall if you were on the mountain the same day that the incident happened or not, but
yeah,
it,
I
it
called in that day. I did not
yeah.
make it.
Yeah, it was a
But
tragic local event that's well known here across the Pacific Northwest and honestly nationally. And I think for you and Kelsey both, as well as Jeff, I mean all of you guys, that was a big kind of a pivotal moment locally here in the Pacific
huge.
Northwest for shifting the mindset of a lot of local riders, including you guys, and wanting to get involved and making a difference in the community, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, Jeff, give us a quick highlight on Patrick, you guys' other business partner as well, and then like, why don't you tie it all together and kind of talk about what brought the four of you guys together? Was it sitting around a campfire one night and somebody says, "Hey, I got an idea"? Like, is that how it went down, or is it something different?
Little
Well, we got to start things off. I mean, Pat Kennedy, who's not here tonight, is the fourth business partner in the Elevated Backcountry team that we put together, and he's been a local snowmobiler, and just kind of mountain enthusiast up here in the Baker area for about 15 years since he moved up here. We met through a mutual friend around then, and over those years, we've started to work together on avalanche education on a couple of different things. He came and joined the NWAC team a couple of years ago and started working as one of the snowmobile-based avalanche educators for the NWAC team. And so we've been working together as educators for a couple of years. That's kind of how I knew Pat. And as far as starting this off, this kind of goes. I think initially Kelsey was kind of the inspiration for this in some ways because she came down from Canada. She'd been working up there in Canada,
Okay,
and um, and moving down to the U.S., she was having a hard time figuring out how to connect with folks to continue what she was already doing up there.
gotcha,
And she had an opportunity to take. Well, our good friend Duncan Lee introduced us all mutually, and
gotcha.
Duncan was like, "Hey, Kelsey, get a hold of this guy, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, get a hold of this gal, Kelsey. She wants to help out." And so, these things go. These conversations just start to snowball a little bit. And so Kelsey wanted to work in the U.S. as an avalanche instructor and needed to get certified in the U.S. as an avalanche instructor.
Yeah,
And so, the program you've been running, the Live Large University Scholarship Program you've been doing with Erie,
yeah,
she applied for that and was able to receive a scholarship to go to that training last year. Completed her U.S. training certification, which really helped her I would say, round out a already impressive skill set that she was bringing to the table. But now she was just really fired up and wanted to teach. And so over the summer, she was just asking me how to get more involved. And I was talking with Pat, and then it was just a conversation just turned into, what do you think it would be like if we started something on our own? What do
Yeah.
you think? Do you think we could pull this together? And we started, I don't know, just like adding up the skills and the experience and what we were actually bringing to the group. And
Yeah.
we thought about it. Like at one point we did the math, John, and we have 75 years of snowmobiling experience in the four people who are, the principals with the Elevated Backcountry.
Yeah.
And we were 30 years of avalanche education experience in that same group.
Yeah.
So as a combined group, we realized we had the strength to try to pull this together. We realized we had a team. And that's kind of where it kind of all rolled off this summer as a series of phone calls and conversations. And, our first official business meeting we had up at Twin Lakes, up at Mount Baker area.
Okay.
It's a lake, alpine lake at about 4,500 feet. We all sat there in a rainstorm under a tent and had our first official business meeting. It was quite humorous.
Very cool. Very cool.
We wouldn't have had that tent. We would have been hosed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm more of a glamper or glamping, whatever it's called. So I was prepared for the rain.
There you go. There you go. Welcome to Roughing It. So, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no kidding.
here's the thing: is like I moved to here to Washington State back in 2012, and just locally we've had avalanche awareness programs that have been evolved and built through the Northwest Avalanche Center. There's been, I think, like the Alpine Institute that's done a segment of their training as motorized courses, but by far the lion's share of what they're doing is non-motorized. And so, like, there's, in my opinion, just personally, there's been a big hole here specifically in the state of Washington and honestly in the Pacific Northwest overall of, having a dedicated backcountry motorized team that's here to be able to teach and educate the local riders, right? And I think what I've seen in that time that I've been here, 2012 to now is, geez, it's what, 9 years now I've been here in this state. It's crazy. And there's just been there's not been a big like following of people wanting and eager to get educated because it just wasn't a local resource. To go do this, you may stumble across it on a local website and you may get into one of the few classes that were offered, or you had to travel out of state and go to these bigger things. And especially when you start getting into like ride skills training and stuff that you guys are going to be working in, doing some of the courses and stuff you're doing. These are all things that are there. And so me having personal experiences way before this ever became a thing with all of you guys, like, Kelsey, Joey, you, Pat, I've either attended training classes with some of you guys, or I've ridden with some of you guys, or just gotten to hang out with you guys at club meetings. And I can't think of a better team to pull this off here in the Pacific Northwest. So I can't tell you personally how excited I am to get this out there and to really encourage folks, and here's what I'll tell everybody who's watching is, this is obviously a national program. It'll go all over the place. But if you're here in the state of Washington, highly encourage you to drop this in your local, just personal page even, because if you ride here in the state of Washington, like you and your friends who ride here, they're going to need to get their avalanche training. And this is the primary resource, I think, going forward that we should all take advantage of. But we'll be sharing this out into a lot of local club pages as well, too, because, it's a great group of people and a great resource here that we have locally in the state of Washington. So anything you want to add to that before we start diving into what you specifically are going to be offering and some of the schedule that you got coming up for this season?
No, that's a great coverage there. Joey,
Yeah.
anything?
No, yeah, I think just maybe to hit on this, having something here now, like I feel like that's local. I think is a huge thing that now there's an option here, because me riding in the past,
Yeah.
didn't really know much about,
Yeah.
oh, we got to get trained. Like there's all this stuff. So now I just think having the option is like super cool now. Like there's something like right here at home,
Yeah.
as opposed to people going to Canada. I mean, I love Canada, obviously, but like it's cool to just be able to stay at home now. So
Yeah, no,
hopefully we
absolutely.
can
Well,
push the
and
education
you guys
factor.
just finished and wrapped up your first area level 1 class just here, what, about a week ago, right? And
Yeah, last
you
week.
guys posted a picture, and in that picture was a lot of familiar faces to me. And what I was really impressed with was, you guys have kind of cracked the egg for even some of our local hardcore long-term riders who've been somewhat resistant to get this avalanche education because like, no, I've ridden those areas forever. I know the backcountry. I've been safe, no problem. and seeing them in your classes and having follow-up conversations afterwards of how, what a great time they had and what they learned. You guys are doing it the right way. So, I've already gotten some personal feedback from people who've attended your last class just here a week ago, and they've loved it. So
That's great to
Yeah,
hear.
right on. That's right.
cool, cool.
It kind of is a great segue to talk about what it is we're actually offering, what it
Perfect.
is that's special about this. So I don't know, like I'll talk about the Avalanche course stuff, and I'll let Joey talk about what we're doing for skills stuff.
Perfect.
So kind of how we've kind of have spheres of influence in our organization here. So
Perfect.
on the Avalanche side of things, Avalanche courses they're just an amazing experience. Like when you go through it, you don't realize that you're coming to learn so many different things about not just the mountains, but how we approach the mountains and how we want to play in the mountains. Now we set ourselves up for a good day in the mountains. That whole idea of a good experience, like that's important as a participant, but it's also really important as an instructor too. It's one of the reasons we keep doing this. So what is it about an experience what is it about the Avalanche course experience you're going to like? It's you come away with a set of skills that's going to help you make decisions in the mountains is what it comes down to. We give you skills that help you address the uncertainty provided by the snowpack, the uncertainty in the terrain that you're riding in, even skills that help you with the uncertainty in the group that you're managing. And the goal there is that you develop more confidence and you're able to approach the mountains from, I don't know, it's like it opens up another page in the mountains and I don't know, like there's a lot of specific stuff we teach. You learn about snowpack tests,
Yeah.
you learn about avalanche rescue, you learn how to measure and evaluate avalanche terrain. But at the end of the day, the experience is what you remember. And that's where the learning comes from, is tying back to the experience.
Yeah.
So I think we look at it, holistically in that sense. That's what the avalanche education goal is. The Area Rec program that we teach has 3 courses that are designed in a series. There's the Area 1 course, there's the Avalanche Rescue course, and those can take in either order. They don't have to be in series. You can start with the Rescue, you can start with the Area 1. But they're designed to work in tandem to give you the basic skill set to go and navigate and play in the mountains. The Area 2 course is about amplifying all of those skill sets, really learning how to understand snowpack tests, how to catalog terrain and build a good terrain resource, understand how to decide which trip is the right trip for which day with which group and what conditions. So those
Awesome.
are kind of what we try to do with those Avalanche courses. That's what they're designed to do and what we think we're able to deliver for folks. So
Yeah.
that's
And if somebody's not ever taken, any avalanche training up to this point, which frankly is going to be a lot of your customer base, area level 1 or companion rescue, whatever comes first on the schedule, they could sign up for either one and then just encourage them. It's not quote unquote required, but highly encourage them to take both. And then down the road, they could take area level 2 the following year if they wanted to. So,
yeah. The other 2 courses, the first 2, the Area 1 and the Rescue, are the prerequisites for getting into the level 2.
yep.
You can take a level 2 if you've taken a level 1 some years ago, or you don't have an area level 1, but you're like, I had a level 1 education some years ago. That's still going to count, but we encourage you to take a recent rescue course to really update those skills. Because in an area 2 out in the field, we don't spend a bunch of time on avalanche rescue.
Gotcha.
We kind of hope that skill is already kind of learned and established and practiced.
Yep. Makes sense. Makes sense. Cool. So, Joe, you want to highlight what's going on with the ride skills classes that you guys got planned?
I was going to add to Jeff's thing about the level 2 because I was
Sure.
like, when I had my level 1, I took with Kels, and then the level 2, I'm like, what is this level 2? And I learned like there's so much snow stuff. Like the snowflake is not just a snowflake; it's a stellar snowflake. It's the amount of stuff in there. I was like, there's so much information. It's so cool to learn about it though. Like I kind of told some of the guys last week about it, and they're like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And they like wanted to get the little magnifying glass out and look and stuff. It was cool,
Very cool.
but yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, as far as courses go for writing skills and clinics, so we're focusing more on like your beginner, intermediate level, from all the way from like bar sled setup to traversing hills, getting sleds on edge, managing terrain, stuff like that. So anywhere from it's your, first year to your 5th, 6th year, you're having troubles with this, that, and the other. It's all about getting you more comfortable in the backcountry with your sled to maneuver around safely.
Yeah,
So that's what we'll be focusing on. And we actually have two clinics. One's in, let me look here, February 19th and 20th. We've actually got Ashley Chaffin coming out, factory scooter rider that Kelsey's friends with, to do the ladies clinic.
that's
And then
amazing.
we also have 509 athlete Scott Iyer coming in April 2nd and 3rd, which will be doing a 2-day course. And that's going to be a rescue one day and then a skills the next day. So kind
Very
of
cool.
a better bang for your buck kind of a deal. So
Sounds great. Anything else on the schedule? I know you guys have like a schedule on your website. Why don't you maybe just give a shout out of the website people can go to? Because whatever we say today, I'm sure it could evolve, right? Because classes will book up. You
yeah,
may have to add extra classes. Maybe one class doesn't fill up and you have to change the date of it. Who knows? But let's just talk about the website
yeah,
and
if
where
you
people
keep
can.
passes closed like they are
Yeah,
now, then you never
exactly.
know.
Yeah. Where can people find the information? I guess that's the key part.
It's going to be at elevatedbackcountry.com, www. And then we also have a Instagram at elevatedbackcountry_.
Yep.
So those are where we're talking and communicating with most.
Yep. We also have a Facebook account, and yeah, the website is definitely the best place to go for our updated schedule.
Yep.
We're trying to put posters out to let people know about upcoming courses, but I'll take a second to reel off the upcoming avalanche courses if I have give me a
Sure.
second for that, John.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we've got a level one coming up this next weekend, starting on the 15th, and there's still a few spaces available for that one. So it's almost full, but there's a couple spaces left. The the um, the Zoom classes start next week, so hop on that if you're interested.
There you go.
Yeah, the level two that we've scheduled for this season, we do one a season. We've scheduled that for the following weekend, so the 21st of
Yep.
January. That's when that starts, and that's 3-day course in the field. So the big difference there is we spend all 3 days in the field and try to really spend a lot of time practicing the skills. We have a rescue course on the 13th of February. We're calling this the Take Your Sweetie to Rescue course.
There you go.
So, Valentine's Day special.
Hey, if you love your
We go
sweetheart,
our
you're gonna
way.
get trained so you can ride with your sweetheart. So
That's right. So who better to
Bring your
train with?
chocolates.
Yeah, hey, better than buying chocolates. Let's see here. On the 12th, the same weekend, starting on the 12th of February, the Elevated Backcountry crew is working in tandem with the Mountain Bureau, which is a mountain guiding operation in the Methow Valley. And
gotcha,
they've wanted to host a motorized course for their community, but they're not snowmobilers. And so
gotcha.
they've worked with us to bring us as instructors into work under their permit.
Very
We're going to
cool.
be out of the Yellow Jacket Trailhead for 2 days.
That's
So
amazing.
if you're up in the Methow area, looking to do a course on that side, we got a special course for you guys over there. We're back on Baker on the 19th of February for another level one. And again, on the 12th of March, we're doing another level one. And again, wrapping up the season on the 20th of March with a rescue course. The nice thing
Nice.
about the spring courses on Baker is we have a huge snowpack by then, and we got longer days.
Very
So
good.
great place to come ride and
Sunshine.
practice.
Yeah. Well, and for somebody who's never been through avalanche training, I'm just going to state something that may end up being like a sticker shock moment when they get to the website, right? Because we haven't talked about it, but I'm just going to call it out is, these classes aren't inexpensive, right? They're $525 for a level one. The other ones,
Yeah.
it varies. I think the rescue course is what, 50, one, something like that?
195. Yeah,
195. Yep. Okay.
195. Yep.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'll tell you is like avalanche education seems really expensive, like period, no matter where you get it, right? And I think what you have to do is put it in perspective, right? I think,
Absolutely.
how much am I spending on fuel for my truck every weekend? I think if you really add it up, you're spending $100 a weekend just riding up and down the mountain between fuel in your sled and your truck. Fuel is expensive nowadays, right? And so to be able to do a class like this, just to go riding is going to cost you 100 to 100 some bucks per weekend minimum to go out. And then you start thinking about like, well, I'm going to take a week long trip or a weekend trip and I'm going to go somewhere. Like you've immediately dropped, $500, $1,000 or whatever. And so we're not in a cheap sport. And here's the thing is what I've experienced in my avalanche education and my riding career is that you go through these phases, right? You go from ignorance is bliss. I don't know anything, so I'm just out having fun and life is grand. And then you learn a little bit, and then you get a little bit paranoid and you get a little bit scared and you get a bit worried. And it kind of almost takes the fun out of the riding because you're a little bit worried because you know enough about avalanche education, you've watched a show like this, you've heard about it, maybe somebody in your community has been taken by an avalanche, and now you're a little bit paranoid about it, right? And that's not a good place to be. You want to get more education, and as I've gotten more education, what's happened for me is riding has become extremely fun again, right? It went from ignorance is bliss, life is grand, to now education is bliss, because I've been able to now go out in the backcountry, and even like right now, frankly, it's flashing red out there all over the place, but heading, if I could get up over the pass, I know exactly where I could go and ride safely, because I've gone through the training. I've seen where the terrain is that I need to watch out for, and I've read the forecast, and I know there's zones where I can go avoid the avalanche concerns and not be freaked out about it, right? And because I've gone through that training and learned it. And so the $500 or whatever it is you're going to spend for the training you're going to get, or to rescue your friend, like, I mean, think about it. We all pay by insurance, right? And we want to avoid an accident or something. This is kind of like an insurance, right? You're investing in your education to learn enough to be able to avoid an accident, or if an accident does happen, you can rescue your loved one, as we talked about earlier. And so, you know, in the big scheme of things, this is a very small investment for a very huge part of all of our lives, that I think is, you know, a tremendous value, honestly, is what it comes down to. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's the sleds are so expensive nowadays, and I was one who's like, oh, we got to mod this thing out, you know, before people are getting behind Kelsey and I helping us with stuff. And it's crazy because now, like, you never stop learning. I could take a level 1 class like 5 times and I'd still learn something new, right?
Agreed.
Like, I shadowed last week, and then I was like, in Pat's ear, like, what's about this? What about this? Like, it's the coolest thing. It's so fun learning now. It's like, whoa, you know? So, yeah, education is literally like the best modification I feel like you can do
Awesome.
for a snowmobiling, you know what I mean?
Yep. Jeff, you were going to say
That's a good
something
way
too?
to put it, Joe. I like that.
Yep.
Best mod you can make. You know, and you think about it, it is a chunk of change, but you're, like you said, John, you're investing in your partnerships. You're making yourself the better partner to your rest of your group by knowing more about the terrain and knowing more about where to go. So you're making yourself a better partner. But the added benefit to that is you come away from this with confidence, knowing where you're going to find the best snow. So there's a little bit of a selfish motivation at the end of this too.
Yep.
So I don't know. There's lots of reasons to find the pluses in making this investment, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right, guys, final words as we wrap this up. Anything you want to leave everybody with that we haven't already said? If not, we're going to wrap it up.
Elevated Backcountry. We're here to ride with you guys.
Joey?
I'm going to say elevate your education. How about that?
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, what I wrap up every show too, by the way, anybody who maybe is watching this for the first time, please jump in here and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Every 2 weeks on a Thursday night, just like this, we're bringing somebody on, and it's typically around safety and education and something to do with the snowmobiling. And maybe in the summer months, we'll do some stuff around jeeping or dirt biking or side-by-siding. But basically, it's motorized power sports recreation. We'd love to have you guys come back and watch some future episodes or go back and watch some old episodes. So please like and subscribe the channel, and share this out and get the word out about all the amazing things that Jeff and Joey and their partners with Elevated Backcountry have going on. And I always say, God bless everybody, live large, have an amazing night. Bye, everybody.